What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one features two of the best players playing in the world with the Zerg pieces. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Eastwatch LE, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently known as one of the best Zerg players playing in the world, and he's currently down 0-2 against his opponent. Wants to get this series rolling back in his favor. His name is Nerchio. And his opponent, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to close this series out right here and right now. His name is Serral. So, guys and girls, games 1 and 2 were absolutely incredible, and I would highly recommend checking those out at some point or another, because this game number 3, I have a feeling, is going to be just as good as games 1 and 2. And by the way, these games were played at the WCS in Leipzig, which, of course, a best-of-5 series. This was the quarterfinals of that tournament. A massive, you know, for when it comes to these pro gamers, they want to, of course, win, you know, the WCS stops, because simply put, if you win one of those, you get invited to BlizzCon automatically. So that is something that is very important to these players. Winning these tournaments is absolutely huge, and every game does count. So we are going to see, you know, Serral guys playing just textbook play and absolutely, you know, doing Serral type things, which is, of course, just overwhelming his opponent over time and outsmarting his opponent. Nerchio actually had the upper hand in a good portion, I would say 5 to 10 minutes of game number 1. In that game, I just think he was a little bit, you know, hesitant to overextend, which I think I believe personally that if Nerchio would have overextended in game number 1, I believe he actually would have overcome his opponent. But that said, we'll never know, at least at the, you know, because all we know is the outcome of game number 2. But the question is if you are in our red Zerg player's shoes, which is Nerchio, what do you do against the best player on the planet when you're down 2-0? What is the best move, or the best, what's probably the best thing to do in this position, when you're in this current position? Do you go for an all-in push? Would you like go for a little bit of some cheese, or just play a macro focus game, which you've been doing in the first couple of games? Kind of interesting. We'll have to see, though. It looks like Serral's going to go for that gold base as his third base. Very interesting and very greedy by Nerchio. But that said, this gold base is relatively easy to take on this map on Eastwatch. So, you know, it's something that that we'll have to kind of keep an eye on, because his economy is going to be absolutely incredible in this game, and it does look like he is going to find out about this relatively soon. So Nerchio's going to know that this gold base is the one that is going down. The question is he going to be able to get the cancel on it? It does not look, at least at this point, that that's going to be the case. And Nerchio, surprisingly enough, I'm assuming he's not going to allow this to happen. Because the longer the game goes, Serral is going to be in such a substantial lead against his opponent. We are going to see the very fast lair coming out of Nerchio. So I actually like this decision a lot. We are going to see the Baneling Nest coming out of Serral, and I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing a little bit of some run-bys here by Serral at this point as well. But as this game is going to go, we're going to find out very quickly what is going to work out here for both of these players. There are going to be some Banelings coming out for Nerchio, and it does look like Serral is going to decide, instead of getting the lair, he's actually going to be getting the evolution chamber, probably getting those +1 ground-based unit upgrades here relatively soon, or quicker, I should say, than getting the lair. I'm assuming that lair will be going down here relatively shortly. But Nerchio is going to have, you know, the higher tier lair units earlier, of course, than his opponent. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And there are just, you know, this is why I love the ZvZ matchup. I know a lot of people don't like this matchup, guys, but I actually really do enjoy it, because there's just action happening all over the map all the time. There's always something to talk about. I mean, just look at these Zerglings that are running across the map here. They're going to try to threaten this third base location. Once again, they're going to try to get a couple of these drones for their troubles. And these are just things that happen in the ZvZ matchup consistently. Now, you got to be careful, though. You don't want to just lose a bunch of these units for free. That said, though, more and more of these Zerglings are coming across the map now, and there are going to be Banelings that are coming out of those cocoons here shortly. But I think that Serral is really not too afraid, at least at this point in the game. He is trying to do as much damage as he possibly can with such little amounts of units, and his economy is going to start booming here shortly. Now we're seeing the Spire coming in by Nerchio. I love that decision by Nerchio. He's going to go ahead, and he knows, at least at this point, that the lair is not up yet. Now, the lair just is now finishing at this point in the game. So the lair's out, but we do have that Spire that's going to be coming in here shortly. Now, the question is Serral going to know about this soon enough? Now, we are going to see these Zerglings are going to get a very nice scout in. They're going to surround this queen here, and I think they might, yes, they do get one of those queens, and that's exactly what you want to do if you are Nerchio. Nerchio was able to get the cancel on that 4th base location, and more of these Zerglings are still trying to threaten that gold base. But see, that gold base is everything, guys. That gold base is going to help Serral so tremendously in the later stages of the game because he gets such a booming economy. We are going to see a bunch of these Mutalisks are now going to be coming out onto the playing field, and it does not look as if Serral knows about this yet. Serral has no idea that this is coming. I'm assuming we are going to start seeing the spores, so he does know it's coming at this point. But these Mutalisks are going to go right after this gold base. They're going to hit that gold base as quickly as possible, doing as much damage as possible to as many of these units as they can. Now, Nerchio should try to get some of these Overlords as well for his troubles. Doesn't look like he's doing that, though. Those definitely can help. Does look like these Mutalisks are going to try to get back home to help out against the imminent push that is coming. A little bit of a counterattack, and this is something that our Zerg player in blue, Serral, the best player on the planet, does so well. He does these counterattacks that can do absolutely crippling amounts of damage. I don't think it's going to do as much damage as he might hope, but this is going to hurt the supply a little bit of Nerchio. And that being said, it's a little bit, I would say, an eye for an eye, but at the same time, these run-bys are hitting at multiple places at once, and this is exactly what Serral wants to do. He wants to really go for those, those Ling or those Roach run-bys and do as much damage as possible. Now, some of these Overlords are going to start getting taken out, and here we go, the Nidus network. I missed this. So we got the Nidus network coming in. Nidus Worm is going to be coming across the map now, and we're going to start seeing a bunch of units that are going to start coming in over at this side of the map. Flyer attacks level 1 is going to be just finishing up now, but we do have a lot of queens here, and I don't know if I like this decision coming in. The transfuses are coming in here by these queens, and they're doing a lot of damage. Those Banelings, they are able to shut this down relatively quickly. There are a lot of units starting to move in, though. I'm not sure if I'm liking this very much by Serral, actually, because a lot of these Mutalisks are doing a lot of damage. The Mutalist switch really is helping out, at least at this point in the game, getting a lot of queen kills, as well as a lot of these roach kills as well. Now, the roaches are everywhere, though. They took out that 3rd base, which is a massive, massive pickup. In the grand scheme of things, guys, that is a huge pickup by our blue Zerg player, and he is getting more and more kills on a lot of those drones. Serral is absolutely everywhere. He is, with these roach run-bys, really keeping him in the game right now. This is absolutely textbook play by our blue Zerg player. Just beautiful play, at least at this point. And once again, I mean, we're starting to see, a lot of those upgrades coming in, and Serral's on 4 bases. He is on 4 bases against 3 bases of his opponent. Now, there's a lot of Mutalisks out. This is a lot of Mutas, and I think this is a very good decision. It looks like Nerchio is going to start moving across the map here, and I think I got to agree with this simply because there was a lot of damage dealt to Nerchio's economy. with that, that third base going down, and it looks like now he's going after this, after this third base of the Zerg player in blue, and it looks like he is going to go after a lot of these units here. There's a lot of units going down, though, at the same time. It does look like he's trying to get an eye for an eye, at least at this point. A lot of Hydras are out. You got to be extremely careful when you're going up against a bunch of Mutalisks, for sure, 100%, against a lot of Mutalisks, to say the least, that are starting to do a decent amount of damage. At least at this point, there are two of those Spore Crawlers that can do so much damage to a group of Mutalisks. But this is actually, what this is doing, it's buying Nerchio some time. The question is, though, is there enough here to really, to hold on for Nerchio? I just don't know. It's buying him time, but at the same time, these Mutalisks, he's having a hard time really deciding what he wants to do. The beautiful transfuses coming in. Oh, and here we go. We are going to see what looks to be, once again, another Nidus Worm. And I love this decision a lot. You got another Nidus Worm. Now it does look like it's going to be right on top of this Nidus Worm. But it does look like at this point, Nerchio's decided that he's probably going to start moving out here shortly. We're past the 11.5-minute mark, and I think he just knows he has a better army. He's got a better economy. He's got a lot of Hydras. I mean, these Hydras are going to shred these Mutalisks without much problems whatsoever. And it does look like they're going to start moving. That fourth base is coming in, but I just wonder if it's a little bit too late here for our Zerg player in red. That's the only thing I'm wondering here, guys. It's a little bit going to be a little bit scary if Serral starts moving across the map here. Is there going to be much here to hold off against this army composition? We already have some of those roaches that are moving in once again to that third base location, and now the rest of the army's here. There's a lot of banelings out, but with a little bit of some micro, this could be absolute disaster. A lot of those Hydras are just doing so much damage, and GG is called, and Serral wins this series, guys. It's best of 5. I mean, really, when you think about it, with relative ease against his opponent. He wins it 3-0 against Nerchio. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and Nerchio. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.